So, first off, I would like to say hello and greetings to everybody. Welcome to our virtual live reading, poetry reading with PJ Thomas. I'm your co-host, Olivia Flynn. And first, we'd like to start off with just a short land acknowledgement. So we're grateful to the Indigenous people who let us live, work, and play in their territories. May we learn from them and respect the responsible stewardship and protection of the lands and waters. First, I'd like to start with a little intro for PJ. I know most of you know her, but PJ Thomas has been writing and publishing poetry in the Kawartha Lakes area of Ontario for 6 years. She writes about the local geography and community and how we shape each other with a sense of the beauty of mystic nature and connection with our surroundings. Thomas's poetry is best described by fellow author Frank Flynn as a three-alarm fire at the corner of romanticism and magical realism. Miss Thomas makes her home with her cat by the Otonabee River as well. So for some notes about tonight's reading, I know some of you have already started, but I wanted to make a call out to invite you all to use the live chat to communicate with each other and us. Everyone is muted and not able to start their video, so that will be the best way to communicate anything to the larger group. You can use the chat function by clicking the chat button on the bottom toolbar of your Zoom screen. So all attendees will be able to see your messages, and there will be a question and answer period at the end of the reading. But throughout the reading, we encourage you to participate in the chat, share your thoughts or comments on the poetry, and any questions that you may have or want to ask, whether it be to PJ directly or the process of ordering her books and whatnot. So feel free to send these messages throughout the reading, and we'll read any questions aloud afterwards during the Q&A period. So for tonight, PJ will read her work in 3 separate segments between a tour of the website and how to order books and a video feature of 4 digital shorts from the new video series, 12 Weeks of Bliss. PJ Thomas has successfully published 2 poetry collections now, Undertow and Waves, and is now offering pre-orders for Drifting, the 3rd book in the Water trilogy coming out this September in 2024. So now here she is, PJ.
Hello, hello, welcome everybody, old friends and new, and friends I haven't met yet. I'm really glad you could be here with us. We would like to gratefully acknowledge financial assistance for this event from the Canada Council for the Arts through the Writers Union of Canada. So they made us a micro grant so we could do this, which is super. And I'm going to be reading about 20 poems. I started writing poetry 6 years ago, and it was my plan to write 100 poems. And I was going to call them 100 Schizoid Poems, but my friends didn't like that title. So that became my first book, Undertow. And I went on to write almost 1,400 poems so far. But this first poem is number 95, and it's called This is the Last Poem. One more poem to write, to fill in the blank, and to get to 100. 100 letters of tears and joy to 100 friends, and they grow tired of the words. What can I say to well-wishers and loved ones when every feeling is already broadcast by my heart? The words are just the floor sweepings after the hootenanny is over. My love for my friends is the dance of art that never ends. The energy is there to tap any time. The eternal moment ushering in a new year, no matter what the date. And this next poem is about my publishing partner, a colleague and dear friend of 33 years, and it's called She Will Lift You Up. I saw her today at the cafe. No one else was there, so we could sit long, basking in curved wooden chairs that wrapped around our backs. Our conversation came easy. Empathy and humor will do that. We practiced the way of trying to do a right thing. There is an optimal outcome for any situation, striving for harm reduction in all our dealings. Relationships are tantamount to my heartbeat. I require mutual harmony at almost any cost, and she needs truth, honor, and justice for squirrels, loved ones, and drug-addicted folks who have fallen in the street. I've been writing a lot about love and death lately and how they often go together. And I also write a lot about my beloved Peterborough, which I will call my hometown, though I grew up in Toronto. Anyway, this one's about all three, love, death, and Peterborough. And it's called We Meet on George Street. I ran smack dab into you, our hearts smashed together. There was warmth and contentment, you hugging me, cradled to your center, and we stood like that on the busy sidewalk, the cars flashing past. Friendship knows no bounds of adult ego, can touch you on the forehead, tickle you about your middle, tingle up your spine when it's clever. We are cracking up and telling each other truths about our dark side, our demons packed in baggage that maybe now we can set by the curb. The taxi cab comes to collect me, and I leave the luggage behind. And that poem was from Waves, which is my second poetry collection. It's available on my website. This is my website here, pjpoet.ca, pjpoet.ca. And you can go there for more free poems or to donate or order books. Have a look around. And I'm going to take a little swig. This poem is called If. You don't know me, don't know all the shameful and shining things I have done. But I want to know more of you. Is it dangerous to my heart for you to capture my interest, my intrigue and affinities all? I can turn them on and off like a light switch, but at what cost? A falsehood to my calloused heart, to laugh and say it's okay when it isn't and probably won't ever be. Is that negativity bias? Are we made to make each other feel welcome, joyous, and free? I have no idea who I want to be to you. Friend, poet, advisor, truth seeker. But I know I want to soak you up, breathe you in, absorb some of your essence through psychic osmosis without being a vampire and while always wanting the very best to be. Your happiness would delight me. And in this poem, the main character is actually based on two men I know, a poet who's just wonderful, and I have another poem about him in a minute, and another friend who was almost the 40-year-old virgin. And this poem is called New Love. Is Jimmy having sex this very Saturday morning? lollygagging among the pillows. We hope so for him, and that he is held in love. New romance with the late spring's blossoms. Soon the peonies will open full, like the lotus flower, the water lily, roses the color of blood. Jimmy looks so happy lately, beaming, gleaming, creaming his jeans. He whistles when he walks and stops by to charmingly talk with old women at the laundry, washing the lovers from their sheets. I remember touching so many years ago now, when the day was filled with thoughts of the other. I wonder how we got anything done, mooning about spooning with our beloved. And this next poem is about a friend of mine, Charlie Petch, who's a poet, performance artist, you name it. Charlie's probably done it. He just had a current hit show called No One's Special at the Hot Dog Cart. And Zisa, our poet laureate here in Peterborough, Ontario, curated 30 poets writing their poetry prompt for National Poetry Month. And Charlie was one of those poets. So this is the poem I wrote to Charlie Petch's prompt. Tube steak out. I'm so old, I remember before pickled hot pepper rings were a condiment in Canada. I have learned to go to Charlie when I want the real meat. Chew the fat, the gristle and the grind of organs, lips and snouts. The cart is where people throw heart attacks in the middle of downtown. Get the chills or cotton fever, withdrawal from alcohol after the bar's last call. Charlie takes them all one at a time, those on top of the world having some quick tube steak before takeoff to Bermuda, Bahamas. Those scrounging coin for a $3 footlong. And when your bus gets in on Bay Street in the wee hours of the night, there's a welcome dog with mustard and hot peppers at Heaven's Gate, the hot dog cart, where friendly Charlie wags his tail with your late night supper. Unity along the equator. You and I are going through some changes, flickering fiction leaping off pages. You have felt the North Star shifting, felt your long-held beliefs fade in real time. And you step up to the altar, smell the incense, oily and tender, and know you hold the covenant of tomorrow's garden. I slip like ice between and circling so things don't cling. I think I have a steep ascent to my mental mountainside, a learning curve that is more as a cliff when people try to climb. And then I smile and scoop up some of your ultra cool, take a deep breath of your fresh cleverness. Then I set it all free on the breeze, making wishes on flying seeds. And now my gifted, wonderful, talented co-host, Olivia Flynn, is going to school you on how to order my books. So take it away, Olivia.
All right. Hello. Yes. I am going to take you onto PJ's website to show you, share my screen so that you can get an idea on how also to order her books, whether it be pre-ordering, drifting, or one of her older books as well. So first I'm going to share my screen. And here we are. So you'd start on Google and then you can go to PJ's website by typing in pjpoet.ca like this. And then this will come up where it says Roaring Mouse Poems. So this is PJ's website. You can get a ton of information about what's going on in her world on this site. But if you want to order a specific book, you can just go over to the Order Books tab right here. And then it'll bring up a little drop-down menu where you can pre-order Drifting, you could order Waves, or you could order Undertow. But for the sake of this, since PJ's new book Drifting is coming out, I'm going to just go through the pre-order form for ordering Drifting. So you would, sorry, PJ?
Yay!
Yes, exactly. So you would just click pre-order Drifting right there. And then a new screen will pop up that says pre-order Drifting like this. It'll tell you that there is an online order form for direct shipping below. It'll show you the lovely and beautiful cover of the Drifting book, which is the third book in the Water trilogy. It'll tell you here when the books will be shipped. Gives you an option as well to do wholesale orders. So in order to do that, you'll need to contact PJ directly. It'll give you some just information about the book, the pages, the color, matte finish, all of that stuff, and also the price right there. So if you continue to scroll down through the site, it'll take you to this part of the form where you'll need to enter here the number of copies you're looking for. You'll need to enter your name here, first name and last name, your address for shipping, the city that you're in, the province that you're in, and then also your postal code. You'll also need to provide your email address and a phone number. Then you can also send a message if you would like, but then you're basically done. So it's nice and easy, which is wonderful and great. And then once you get finished, you can just scroll to the end and then you'll be able to check out. So there's an option to check out with PayPal here in yellow, or using a debit or credit card. So PJ's website takes all of the major credit cards. So you'll just need to select one of those options, and then soon enough, you'll get Drifting, which is so exciting.
Thanks, Olivia. That was marvelous. And I'd like to say a word about pre-orders. Independent artists and publishers, of which I am both, really rely on pre-orders to get an idea of the numbers they need to print and to be able to afford to print those books. Putting out a book costs thousands of dollars, and oddly enough, poetry isn't the cash cow you might think it is, Canadian independent poetry, but if you know you're going to buy the book, we would be so thrilled if you'd pre-order it. That would help us a lot. And thank you. Okay, this next poem is called Mail Call. You carry my thoughts away to the far reaches of questioning, and I like that, except when focus goes out of my brain. Why was I writing to you? I can't remember now. The screen has changed to Gmail, and there you are, sending back love in that warm-hearted way you have. Like you're christening every moment with blessings acquired over a lifetime, sprinkling your brand of fairy dust, the light of star quality, and buttercup pollen, the color of sunshine, always under the chin. I want no more from you than what you can lend, freedom and support to a friend, love that will see one of us through to the fatal end, though I feel like I'll live forever, since right before I met you, when we were just writing letters. And this one's from my last book, which came out in 2022, and it was called Waves. And this is called In the Cold. Don't worry, one kind word won't kill you, though you might feel it may crack your fragile shell so carefully reassembled. Egos can shatter, hearts do break, and spirits can get lost when ungrounded warriors of fiction travel off into their fantastic beliefs. You gave me your long-reaching hand to hold when I was up in the clouds. Let me feel your roots again, dug deep into the earth, and I will try to bring you a little heaven. Tip some sauce from my colorful clouds. Find the kind words for you written in the sky. We can squeeze out a little more sunshine each day for half the year, and for the other half, the zing of the cold telling us we're alive. And this next poem I'm going to dedicate to my favorite chef, James Moore, and it's called Garden Party 1969. I can smell the Tupperware from here. Our Rubbermaid kitchen and aluminum lawn chairs are ready to turn radishes into roses and wrap pigs in a blanket. The fruit punch is in a big crystal bowl laced with liquor, little cups on S-hooks hanging all around the edge. There's Kool-Aid for us kids with 2 cups of sugar. Some play croquet on the even grass. Our shuttlecock keeps landing in the pool. Dad goes out to the tool shed and gets charcoal for the barbecue. Auntie June brought noodle salad and deviled eggs. And this next one is from Undertow, which came out in 2020. It's called Blue Oriole Drive. Take me back to the garage where my roller skates grow rusty on Blue Oriole Drive. Is this the same dust from when we lived here years ago? I still hear Joseph calling to come to the valley to swing, where pea shooters grow on bushes and salamanders will play with you all afternoon. We would be outdoors before school age and weekends and all long summer long. Back in the glade of our spent youth, we had our own culture of people not yet grown, and not yet tired nor groaning as grist for the grind. We were free in our minds on Blue Oriole Drive. And this one is called So It Didn't Work Out. I want to say something true to you, something that helps you shine, connect the dots, find the through line, get to your sweet spot. Is all hope, expectation, attachment, clinging? Without it, we fail without trying to succeed. There are so many ways for a wind to elude us, even with our concerted efforts, our talent, practice. What is it that wants something better? Disappointment can lead to curiosity about the next best thing, and what a splendid state to be in. Love Song by the Shore. We are all sailors on the water and the fireball of life. Land springs up and we move to shore. Some of us go back, the people that return to the sea. See my dolphin hand, the wing bones in my fingertips, the serpent in my spine. Hold me like we're orangutans, long arms wrapping around each other in a perfect fit. Can we meet on the beach, me from the sea and you hanging from a tree? With the apple, the palm frond, your rock salt and lava. I bring you buoyancy, helpful whalebone from the bottom of the deeps, and blue-green algae. Is it possible to make a home where I swim in the ocean and you tread on the land? Can we make our bed where water meets sand? And that was from Waves as well, which is the second book in the trilogy, the Water Trilogy. And it's available in Peterborough, or you could order from them from anywhere in the world at Take Cover Books on Hunter Street East in Peterborough, or Watson and Lou on Water Street. And ebooks are available on Amazon Kindle and paperbacks there as well. Okay, this one I wrote when I was 20 years old at Trent University, living in residence. And it was published in the first Trent Annual. Bottle socializing. If I could reach out from this tomb of beer bottle socializing, break the glass and touch you, I would be left without shelter, vulnerable on the carpet of shattered fragments, wounded by my courageous triumph, oh so happy. But the rules of the game are not played that way. We must stay capped within, under tension and pressure, yet safely contained. Side by side, bottles stacked, nearly touching, but only bottle socializing. Laughing and smoking, but never feeling liquid contents within, the bubbles and the bittersweet. If only my id could run free for a few precious moments, I could break the glass and we could puddle together, pools in the cup of freedom. And this one is from my new book, Drifting, coming out this September 2024. And after this poem, we're going to have a video break. And this poem is called Naked Infinity. There's a sink load of dishes, but I want to write you a love letter so long it would never end until all the drops of the ocean and every speck of sand lying on the beach falls away, and left naked as our first day, we stare into the abyss of scars and fractures and severances. Quick cuts from the mother, the wine cellar, the beauty boutique. You saw the light of day glowing on my partner's skin as she was lying there, without a care beyond the confines of a finite world. And in this video break, we're going to watch 4 videos. In the original version, they had titles and credits and music, but we had to edit it out because of some limitations on Zoom. And it's my poetry with videography by Maria. Maria's a Peterborough artist, multidisciplinary poetry, dance, photography, painting. She's quite phenomenal. And we just did a video series together called 12 Weeks of Bliss. And it was post-production was done by Laurel Pollock. She did a great job. And yes, so this is 4 videos from 12 Weeks of Bliss. And when we come back, I'll finish with 5 never before heard of videos or poems. Okay, thank you, Olivia.
Perfect. Thanks, PJ. So I'm going to share my screen one more time and then we'll watch the videos. I'm not going to break in between them, but I'm just going to keep going through, and PJ says the title of each poem in the video. So I'm just going to grab my screen here. And
hello, this is PJ Thomas, and I'll be reading my poem, Bouillabaisse. In tonight's moment of quiet, it is you who comes to mind. Lately, I'm finding ducks and drakes flying lonely through scattered clouds of white light and purple dark. You are always surrounded by those pouring out their love into the river of your soul, and with that holy water you slake our thirsty roots, running cool and smooth like you are Neptune in marble, carved for the Trevi fountain. Do all the sirens of Titan call to your heart? And me from the sea hags, laughing at you, basking in your glory. Do you occasionally haul up on land, make a fire, and baste yourself in the savory drippings of fresh meat with salt? I still swim in brine with my eyes wide open, hoping for dolphins and other intelligent beings of the deeps to seep into my dreams and guide me, gliding down to the seabeds of mystery. This is P.J. Thomas, and I'll be reading my poem, A Friend Late in the Season. Night shine times and wind chimes outdoors on the porch, pipe dreams and moon cream gleaming rich and oily on slow black water. Practicing geese fly across this light, and all my tomorrows are rolled into today, hovering like moments of beaded rain on tilted glass. If I could cast this moonlight onto your countenance, would I see clearly the thoughtfulness in your eyes? But I can see you in the dark, my oldest friend. I can sense the crinkling of your crow's feet and understanding that our time is here. For the luxurious moon has grown late, and no one knows about next year. Hello, this is PJ Thomas, and I'll be reading my poem, The Semi-Formal at the Laundromat. Everyone's so well dressed at the laundromat. The last thing in your closet is that old bridesmaid's dress. You have a choice of coveralls or to rediscover your tuxedo. Find your kilt with its lucky pin from way back in your piping days. Yes, it's semi-formal at the laundromat. Gold lame with slouch socks, ball gowns and velvet frocks. Bustiers with falsies and jodhpurs from the ride. I used to wear old tatty clothes when I gave a care what folks suppose. Now I parade around the laundry in my gold plaid miniskirt, leather jerkins and swashbuckler shirts. I wear sequins and bright shiny things while I'm washing out my favorite clothes. Hello, this is PJ Thomas, and I'll be reading my poem, The Waves and the Wind. I don't know if there's a God, but I have known the force of nature, felt held in place by the wind, spellbound as I tried to move, leaning in and buffeted. I have felt the weight of water pressing on my ribcage till I thought that I would burst, have bobbed like a cork springing to the surface after being released from the very depths. Leaping off the dam and flying in free fall, I have screamed in my first high dive till all my breath was spent. I have been sunburned and thirsty, freezing and hungry, soaking wet and crying in the rain, spun by the waves and dashed on the rocks till I thought my life would stop, just cease. Today I felt the moist breeze, warm in the springtime, picking up the scent of the wet earth and cedars by the river. Thank you, Olivia. And thank you, Maria and Laurel Pollock. Thank you for that. So welcome back. I'll close with these very new poems for the conclusion of the Water Trilogy. Again, you can pre-order Drifting on pjpoet.ca, pjpoet.ca. And this poem is called Free Falling. I like to drop like a river stone, diving back into the water where I belong. Does the creek bed call to my minerals with its magnetism? Some hidden force of mutual affinity. There is no word, no name on the emotion that tells the truth of what I feel for you. No hymn of Jesus in a sunbeam that can quite touch my heart and give me the lift to say, it's okay, it's all right. I know someone gets it, comprehends the myriad of intentions that we put behind each word. Beyond my work, you give me hope of heaven, and it is a garden by the river where we are all welcome and just. Empty honeycomb. No longer is he serving up love like syrup from the fire. He has turned off the tap, shut the trap door, closed the damper on the chimney so the bats move back to the belfry. I am alone so often and usually enjoy it. Long nights making phonics and rhythms that sound like music. Images that make us sigh or weep, our separate laughter thundering like steeplechase hooves in the sky. I wonder why, and sometimes it comes to me that the fruit ripens on the tree and can fall down to the soil to seed next year's spring. So it's all right that he doesn't love me today. He might again sometime in another way. Forever. When you're so sad, your eyes ache in your head, lay yourself down by my side. Let me stroke the soft hair on your temples with my smooth, flat hand. We have all felt loss, from the cricket in a jar when we are 5, to our grandmas may be gone, our friend's father passing away in one breath. Why do love and death so often hold hands? These things sometimes become ripe together, peak at the same time in the growing vines of our hearts, the veins within our arms, the sinews of our muscles, like blood and energy and stone. If a rock can live for 1 billion years till it is ground down to sand, eroded into a pith of minerals, made into dust again, will we still be friends at the end of the sun? And this is the last poem for tonight, and then we're going to have question and answer. So if you have a question, type it out into the live chat. And this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming. And this last poem is called I Love Him More. He is sleeping in the sun, slowly drawing breath, and seems peaceful. I watch him as he shines in the light, stretching a paw and snuggling deeper in his pile of pillows. Silent is he as his ears glow bright red with blood, pumping through tiny veins, his fine velvet skin alive with life force. I want to crouch down and stroke his warm fur, but I will not disturb him. Let him float and meditate in cat's dreams that last most of the day. It is balm for my soul just to be near him. I wonder how much further can love go? Thank you. So do we have any questions? Olivia?
Hello. Yes.
Hello. Do we have any questions?
So David Bateman said, wonderful reading, PJ. Tori got disconnected, but she's back. Sarah has a question she just wrote. So Sarah's question is, when writing your poems, what is your process in terms of choosing a theme or topic? Do you wait for inspiration, or do you decide what topic to write on based on other factors and then try to figure everything out from there? Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. I usually have an inkling, a line that's come to me, or an image, or something I heard someone say, some little snippet that'll catch my interest. And then the poems just build themselves around these free-form thoughts. I really feel like it's being dictated to me. I often don't feel like it's me writing the poems, they're just coming to me. And yeah, thanks for your question.
Thanks, Sarah. Charlotte Kennedy wrote, "Thank you so much, PJ. Wonderful poems." Which is nice. Thanks, Charlotte. And then Sarah said, "I'm also wondering about what advice you would have for people who are interested in writing poems but are not really sure where to start."
Just start with a pen and paper, start with a keyboard, start with the stick in the dirt. Just start and let it take it where it wants to take you. And if you don't like it, you can always change it. That's the beautiful thing about writing English, is being able to edit it, you know. And but in the initial creative process, I think it's good just to be open. It's like you're brainstorming, letting thoughts and images come to you, and then you can tidy them up a bit, and or do whatever your editing process is. Sometimes I just take out stanzas left, right, and center. But yeah, like that there.
Sure. That's great. Okay, so Karen, I'm not sure about the last name. I apologies if I mispronounce it, but Kalosa asked, "What is your process, PJ? For example, do you approach writing poems as a job where you get up every morning and sit down to write no matter what?"
Yes. Um, Certainly in the last 6 years, that's what I've been doing. Um, Again, I usually start just with a nugget, a snippet of something, and maybe another word will occur to me, and I just start cobbling together a poem. And like I say, they often show me what and how and why they want to be written. And I just kind of trust the muse, and go with that, listen to the words that are just out there floating around all the time. Thanks.
Right. So Tori McGovern also has a question. They wrote, "How do you put your personal experience in your writing? Also, I love your poems. I can relate to them a lot."
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, the first half of the question was, how do I put myself in my poems?
How do you put personal experience in your writing?
Hmm. I don't see how you cannot. Um, I write very much from personal experience, everyday experience, moments when, it can just be a very simple, small moment that manifests into a great blooming lotus, or whatever, that all the pain we go through, all the joy, all the learning to put joy where there was pain, and learning we have the choice of what we want to think. That's how I put myself in my writing. Thank you.
Amazing, thanks. Karen also followed up and said, "Thanks so much. Great reading tonight."
Nice.
Uh,
Thank you.
Amazing, yes. And then Sarah also asked, "Once Drifting has been published, do you have any plans for what you want to do next?"
Yes, start either a new trilogy or even longer. Um, and I want to write about a lot of my first two books were about COVID and living in COVID. And now I'm more interested in how we've changed since COVID, and being intimidated by social groups, being used to being alone and quiet, and this big backlash that people are not afraid to socialize, but we kind of got out of the habit, and all the other sometimes maladaptive behaviors to coping with our neighbors being contagious. And what does it mean as humans when we're so close and connected and help each other, to when, we're turning away and shunning and all these horrible things that had to happen with a quarantine and such. But to see what's going on now, like it's, the nightmare's not over, but under control somewhat. And where do we go from here?
Great, interesting. So that's all the questions for now. If anyone else has any other questions, they can put them in the chat.
Thanks for coming, everybody. That means an awful lot to see you here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. And if you have any other questions, you can write them in the chat. If not, thanks so much for being here. And thank you to PJ for the amazing reading.
And thank you, Olivia Flynn. Bravo. Moderator extraordinaire, co-host divine. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren added into the chat, awesome work, PJ. And Max Price added into the chat, congratulations, PJ XOXO.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
People are very loving and wonderful. I'm sorry. I find people fantastic. They're my species.
Of course, yes. Tori also said, congrats on your new book. Can't wait to see what future work you come up with next as well.
Nice.
And Frank Flynn has added as well. Frank said, well done, Miss Thomas.
Oh, Frank.
And Carly Wines said, thank you so much.
Nice.
Lovely.
Thank you. Well, we've recorded this and maybe we'll play it again sometime, maybe on Facebook or another platform. So maybe we'll see you again, and thank you for participating. That was wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. I think Kim has added one more thing. She said, thanks so much for thanks for sharing so much of yourself. That's great,
Oh.
Kim. If there's anything else, just add it in the chat. But otherwise, I think we are all done. If there's anything else you want to add, PJ?
I'd just like to thank people who foster an interest in community and poetry. It's very much a small niche world, and it's one of the things that go by the wayside quickly when things get tough, but I think we need it even more so when things get tough. So thank you for keeping the light of poetry burning, and thanks for your interest here tonight. Let's get our lovely ending screen up so you can see again where to pre-order Drifting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.